Hello, my name is Scott McCormick, and I'm a landscape supervisor at the University of Tennessee. Today I want to share some tips with you about weed control in both your lawn and in flower beds. This is just a 2-gallon handheld carry pump spray. Of course, it does build pressure as you pump the handle on it, and it's going to build up pressure. Of course, with your lawn, you just spray along. You can get these at your regular home and garden center in 1-gallon size up to 3-gallon, I think. Your backpack sprayers they hold 4 gallons. They're a little more expensive, but if you've got a large lawn that you're taking care of, you're going to be doing a lot of spraying, I would really recommend one of these because it'll keep you from having to run back to the water hose a lot just to fill up your sprayer. Also, if you ever decide to change chemicals in a sprayer, make sure, 100% make sure that you clean that sprayer thoroughly. Rinse it again, triple rinse it, take everything apart, wash out all the hoses, because you don't want to have Roundup residue in your sprayer and mix up some of the broadleaf weed control product in the sprayer and spray it on your lawn and have a Roundup effect instead of the broadleaf effect. When you're mixing your chemicals, always wear your safety glasses and a pair of gloves to make sure that you don't get the chemical on you. You can use work gloves, or you can also use just rubber gloves. Make sure that you always read your label, always follow the instructions, and follow what I call the 3 R's of applying any kind of herbicide. Make sure it's the right target weed so you know what you're going after to get. Number 2, make sure it's the right product for that target weed. And the 3rd R is the right time. And by time, I mean you have to read your label and know product specifications of how long before rain do you have to wait. Some products are rain fast within an hour, some products are rain fast within 4 hours. Some products want a 24-hour window before it can be irrigated or rain be fall on it. Roundup is what's known as a non-selective herbicide, and that pretty much means anything that you get it on, plan on it dying. Any weed, any grass, turf, if you've got an area that you need to get rid of your grass and start over. Roundup is what's known as a systemic acting herbicide. It actually goes through the leaf to the root of the plant to kill the entire plant. Now, the importance of that is if you have an area around a curbside or a driveway or something, and you take your weed eater and cut that weed real low, then come back and spray it, there's probably not going to be enough material or body for the product to stick to and actually soak in through the leaf to the root. What I'm going to cover right now is the application of Roundup in the flower bed. Now remember, Roundup is a non-selective herbicide, so it will cause damage or kill anything that it gets on. And if you're spraying around flowers and ornamentals or around shrubbery, any kind of plants at all, you definitely want to contain your spray and watch very carefully for wind drift or overspray, or if you have a real strong stream of splash when you're spraying around sidewalks and driveways and stuff. There's a big opportunity for splash off the concrete onto your turf or other plants. One little trick that I like to use is they actually make a cone that'll fit onto a sprayer where you can direct that spray and actually control that spray a little better. Sometimes you can just use some of the simplest things. This is just a water bottle with about 1/3 of it cut off. And we can slip that water bottle right directly on here. Spray, as you can see here, this weed that's right here on the corner, and it's a small one, but it's close to a flower, and I don't want any splash or overspray to get on that flower. You can actually just put it right over that and squeeze your trigger, and you've gotten that one weed. Also, when you get over here, you can do the same thing with this weed that's real close to the flower, and you can spray those where you're not going to have a lot of splash or overspray, and you've gotten that weed with a good coverage, and you don't have to worry about it getting on the plants. Now, a weed like this that's so tall and big that's around the plant like that, this is where the old-fashioned way of just pulling that weed out is going to be the best plan. Now over here, if you'll notice, there is some Bermuda grass that's trying to grow up into this bed, and Roundup will kill Bermuda grass. And of course you can see that it does go back into the plant. Now we're not going to spray back into that plant because Roundup, as you remember, goes through the leaf of the plant back to the root. So to keep from having to worry about getting any overspray or splash onto this plant, we'll just spray the tips of it and get all the way as close as we can without creating any issues, and that's going to make that Bermuda grass die all the way back to the root. This is common liriope, blue liriope, and you can tell here where someone has sprayed, and as we've sprayed, Windrip could have been a weed that was here. Of course, it's dead now and we've pulled, but Windrip may have actually blown this onto this plant and caused death on these little leaves. Now, the good thing about Liriope and some other plants is once you see that death of that plant coming up, you can trim that stuff off, and sometimes plants will recover, but there's no guarantee that any plant would recover, and there's no guarantee that would recover. Q4 is what's known as a selective herbicide. You can spray Q4 in your lawn and it will not hurt your turf. You don't really want to spray it real close to trees, but if you was to get it close to a tree ring or something, it's not going to hurt that. It really targets specific weeds, and by that I mean broadleaf weeds. Now this product actually does broadleaf weeds and grassy weeds in your turf. This is a great product to kill dandelions, clover, henbit, chickweed. This product is safe to spray in your turf. Again, read all of your instructions, because you don't want to apply the product if it's going to be too hot for that product, and actually will cause a little bit of damage to your turf. And what we're going to spray is we've got a little bit of crabgrass and stuff that's trying to come up here in the turf. You just want to give it a good coat. You really just spray to wet. You don't have to drown it. You don't have to really worry about soaking the ground. If you've got a lot of weeds, you can actually do just a complete spray, and just spray as you walk and just get all of the plant material. Again, you can see the pretty fescue that's here and healthy and strong. We're under 90 degrees and it won't hurt that turf at all. The Cech Hammer is used only for the treatment of nut sedge, which is a really obscure grass when it grows, but it does grow in flower beds. It also grows in lawns. This can be used in flower beds or on lawns. It is selective because it only does that one type of weed. Of course, I've got this mixed up in its own container, its own sprayer. Pump up, get a little pressure built up in our sprayer here. Now, with nut sedge, you do want to get the entire plant wet. So you want to make sure that you wet all of the leaves. You don't necessarily have to overdo it, but it's in a flower bed, so it's going to be safe to use in the flower bed. Go ahead and get that leaf really planted, because this is a weed that is really tough to control in all sections, in your lawn, in your flower beds. And by label, this specific item says to apply it 3 days before or 3 days after cutting your lawn if it's in the turf. Of course, if it's in your bed, you don't want to take a weed eater and try to knock the top off of it, or scissors and snip the top off of it. Go ahead and spray it as it is while it's full. That way that product can actually get on that leaf, go through the roots, and get down to that thing and go ahead and get it taken care of.